Okay, let's talk about min stack. So for min stack, you are going to implement a stack class, and what you actually need to do is you have push, pop, top, and get min function. So this is the function you have, right? And for the example, I'm just talking about the example. So if you have stack, so you have push -2 and you push another 0 and you push another -3, right? So when you get a min, right, you definitely get a minimum in the stack, right? So retrieve the minimum element in the stack, so it would be -3. And even though -3 didn't insert, when you get min again, it should be -2, right? So that's the idea. When you pop, right, so you pop the top, and you have to see the top value. The top value will just return a 0, and get min again, you get -2. That's how it works, right? So let's before I jump to my example, let's implement a class which I will call let's just call private, and let's call class node. So what this class node actually takes, I will say private int and val and minimum, and I do need to take no and next. All right, let's do the construction. So I would say in val and in min, and I would say I will also create another constructor which takes 3 elements, so in val, in min, and no next, right? So in this construction, I would say this dot val will equal val, this dot min will equal min, this dot next equal next. So I create 2 different construction. That's because if the stack is empty and we insert a node into it, so you only need 2 arguments, you don't have 3. But when you have two elements inside the stack, you need to point at the next element from the stack, right? So what you actually need to do is you can just call the construction, but the last one will be node. So that's pretty simple idea. So let's talk about how I actually do it. So no, and private, no. I will just call head. So for the constructor, I'm not going to worry about. So for the push, I do have to worry about. So if head equal to no, I can just simply just call head equal to new no and just pass in the val. So when you pass in value inside the argument, so which means value itself and the minimum itself. So you only have one item, right? So you are definitely the smallest, and that's why. So what happens if there are 2 elements? So if there are 2 elements, let's talk about that 2 elements. So you push 2 and you push 0, right? So you need to know the minimum is -2. It's not 0, right? When you add a 0 into it. So let's talk about head will equal to new node, and you still need to pass in the value, but the second argument is the minimum, right? So you are going to be you're going to compare the minimum from the val, which is the value you pass in, and also the header val. I mean header min, sorry. And what it actually mean to do is you already have the header val when you insert -2, and before you initialize the head again, the head is still -2, and the next value for 0 is your point to, so you point to the -2. So this is the idea. So the head was still at -2 before you point to 0. So 0 will be the head right now, but in this case, this head is -2. So it's pretty it's a little bit hard to explain, but you will get an idea. So what happened to a pop? So when you pop one stuff, you pop 0, right? So the idea is like I just said the head was -2 before you insert, right? But when you after you insert, the head will become 0. So when you pop, you actually just pop 0, and the head will become this, right? So it was from 0 to -2, right? So you just call head on this. Why? This is -2, this is 0. I already connect, so you just have to just call header next. And how about the top? Top, you just return header val. How about min? Return header min. That would be so simple because for each element inside stack, you stored your current value and also the minimum value below you. So that's the idea, and also point at the previous value. So let's check, do I have error or not? Okay, that's good. I mean, it should be passed. So let's talk about time and space. So you need to traverse every single element, but only at the first. So I don't have to go through the stack. So at the first point, at the first index, I can just get a value. So it should be all of one. And this class, I mean, this implementation for stack is pretty smart. So you should learn about it. So I got this idea from this guy. So just making sure I give the credit to this guy. And that would be my video, and good luck.